Hi Barbie. Oh no, that sounds weird in an Australian accent. Hey guys, what's up? I'm CJ and welcome back to my galaxy. I sound sick for some reason. I'm not sick, but I am going to go watch the Barbie movie, so it'd be pretty sucky if I was sick and couldn't go. This is my before reaction of what I think the movie is going to be like. I think it's going to be about it being a man's world and her being like, it shocking her. I think we already knew that anyway. We all knew that was going to happen. So I don't have any new opinions than everyone else. This is my outfit. I have like a small skirt and stole my sister's pink top. I'm not showing you my feet because I don't want to end up on wiki feet, but these are my shoes. They're the shoes I'm wearing. I wore them to my year 12 formal and I haven't had a chance to wear them since. So that's how it do be today. I'm wearing them to the Barbie movie like one does. Go to the next clip of my after reaction of Barbie.
Alright, so obviously I'm not in a pink outfit anymore. I'm wearing literally all black today. So it is the next day. And that was not the movie I was expecting. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, women can do anything, Barbie. Not girl to womanhood to, what do I describe it? Existential crisis? So let's start from the beginning, right? It started so cute. Ken was so obsessive. We love Ken until the end of the movie. And Barbie, obviously iconic. All the different types of Barbies. They described some of them that were discontinued because they didn't do so well. So they were kind of like a little bit off to the outskirts of the Barbie world, which was kind of mean, not gonna lie. But then there was also Weird Barbie. Let's talk about Weird Barbie for a second actually, because Weird Barbie is the one that tells stereotypical Barbie, Margot Robbie's Barbie, that she is she's opened a portal between Barbie world and the real world, right? Weird Barbie is so funny because they just really capture the essence of childhood and the kids who really just destroy the Barbies, cut off their hair, rub off their makeup, draw all over them. My little sisters were both like that. They both drew all over their Barbies, and some of my Barbies were definitely defaced as well. So we had weird Barbies. Mine weren't. Mine were the stereotypical Barbies and the Barbies that looked like me that my mother could find. Speaking of mothers, I didn't expect that motherhood storyline. But they had like a character of Ruth, is that her name? Ruth Mattel. Is that? Yeah, Ruth Mattel, I'm pretty sure her name was. That designed Barbie after her daughter and like letting Barbie go into the real world, like mother-daughter relationship. That was devastatingly beautiful. So adorable. I didn't expect to have an existential crisis over my life at the end of that. The end line of Barbie going to the gynecologist was probably the best ending I've ever seen. Greta Gerwig definitely deserves all the awards, all of them. Doesn't even matter if she's not in that industry, give her the award. I've seen some people talking about on TikTok how the Barbie and Ken, both stereotypical Barbie and Beach Ken, are a representation of girls going into womanhood and boys going to manhood, right? And how women grow up and realize that all the childhood male friends that they had were, they turned into awful men. awful teenage boys who can't figure themselves out and end up in the alpha male area with their podcasts and their Godfather movies. The only real issue I have with Barbie is that the real world scenes felt some of the dialogue felt a little bit forced. Like when they first introduced, is her name Sasha, the little girl, the daughter, when she was talking about how she hadn't thought about Barbie in ages when Barbie finds her at school, and how Barbie is a representation of everything wrong with society. I don't know. I can't remember her exact dialogue. She had like a whole spiel that was really important but really misplaced, right? And that whole thing, it just felt really forced, and they could have like implied some of it, alluded to some of it rather than putting it in dialogue. But that is also how Americans work. They need things like front and center for them to truly understand it, and that whole American perspective really like messes with it a little bit. That's my only complaint. Other than that, Barbie is amazing. I loved President Barbie, and that they were all like, Barbies, obviously they were all named Barbie, and that then they put their career next to it, so that you have stereotypical Barbie, President Barbie. What other ones did we have? And then there was like an astronaut Barbie. Those ones, there's a lot of them. All the different types of Barbies you grew up with, it was in that movie. Brilliant. All the different types of Kens you grew up with, it was in that movie. Casting for Margot Robbie couldn't have been better. Can't imagine anyone else, you know, because it was Greta Gerwig. Can't imagine Timothy Shimothy being Ken. Can't imagine Saoirse Ronan being Margot Robbie being Barbie. Margot Robbie, great choice. I love that she's an Australian, that Barbie is Australian. Ryan Gosling. I feel like I've never watched a Ryan Gosling movie before. I probably have, because I know who he is, but I don't recall him being that good of an actor in all of the other movies. Like, Ryan Gosling is the embodiment of Ken, especially Beach Ken. I know that they went through like a couple of directors and different casting for the Barbie movie, that's why it took so long, but I can't imagine anyone getting it as right as Greta Gerwig did. I feel like, what was her name? I don't remember, but the other casting, why can't I remember her name? You know, Amy something, I think her name is, the comedian, the really distasteful, will berate women sort of comedian. You know who I mean. She cannot be Barbie. Can you imagine how bad it would have gone if she had been cast as Barbie, or if she had stayed as Barbie? It would have not been as iconic of a movie. I would not have seen it. I would have been like, that's gonna be a disgusting movie. Don't need that in my life. They definitely tackled a lot of different themes with that plot that I feel like the movie could have been a little bit longer. And I don't say this much because movies are way too long nowadays. Can we go back to the hour and a half movies that we used to have? You know, you'd sit down, you'd be able to sit down and watch a movie. You wouldn't have to like have several bathroom breaks during a movie. You just could just sit down and watch an hour and a half for an hour and a half. Bring that back. But this movie could have been longer because they went in depth with a lot of the themes, but they didn't really like, I feel like it could have been extended a little bit more, you know when a teacher tells you your essay certain themes could be extended more, certain points you've made, that like, it's good, but not, it's like they got like an A- on the Barbie movie because they didn't go all the way in depth that they could have. You know what I mean? They did really well, but I wanted more, which is a good thing. You know, Greta Gerwig is brilliant. I hope she casts Margot Robbie is in more Greta Gerwig movies as well, because they seem to work brilliantly together. Although I did see an interview with them at some point on an Australian news show. Yeah, why does that sound weird? Maybe that's not what it's called. The Project. They were on an interview together, and there was a very cultural difference between the American and the Australian of Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig. That was funny though, that they should work together on more projects and cast Ryan Gosling. You know, Ryan Gosling obviously needs some better directing to get his good acting skills out. What else can I say about Barbie? So much. I mean, I don't even have enough time to be able to, I feel like I need to do an in-depth analysis of the Barbie movie, that it was so good, tackled so many themes, and it was overall really good. Let's list some themes that they went through, right? Obviously, the patriarchy. I can say, once I realized the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I wasn't really as into it. That's fair, Ken, but seriously, what else would the patriarchy be about? Coming of age was kind of subtle as a theme. I think that I mean, it was definitely there, but it wasn't explicit with the dialogue. And they have mother and daughter there with coming of age, and then they have Barbie and Ken, who are acting as like a representation of, like I said before, girls becoming women, boys becoming men, and what it looks like individually for each of us, which I think is brilliant. Good job, Greta Gerwig. I'm gonna keep congratulating her because it was brilliant. It's mind-blowing. Anyway, moving on. Motherhood with the mother-daughter duo from the real world, and then Ruth and Barbie. I get the feeling I got Ruth's name wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Ruth Mattel, her name. And Barbie choosing to go into the real world at the end of the movie, I didn't actually expect. I expected her maybe to keep the pool open so they can like continue learning about the real world and like keep changing the patriarchy for the better, you know, equality, you know, have Barbies and Kens be equal. You know what I remember? The narration at the beginning, narration throughout the movie. I think that was a nice little touch, that it kind of broke the fourth wall in a way, in a really good way. That it, at one point it says, talking about how Barbie, stereotypical Barbie, isn't like perfection because you can like be, women can be anything, you know, any shape, size, you know, anything. That's the whole point of Barbie. And then they like pause and go, Margot Robbie's probably not the best representation of that, but you know, moving on. I think that was a nice little touch. The narration was a really good way to represent the things that weren't necessarily in there but had to be said rather than implied. And I liked that. I found it quite funny, the representation of the CEOs of and the board people of Mattel, the company that produces Barbie dolls, Mattel being run solely by men. I didn't expect that, but I found it quite entertaining to make that further comment about why are men in charge of a woman's brand, because we don't need that in our lives. We don't need men dictating what we're doing, obviously. And to further prove my point, they tried to put Barbie in a box when she came into the real world, to send her back to Barbie World, Barbie Land. I can't remember what it was called, but Barbie's world. They tried to put her in a box. Tried to, literally and figuratively, tried to put her in a box to make her fit what she's supposed to be, how she's supposed to act, how she's supposed to look, and whatnot, and try to make her the perfect stereotype. See my point being further proven by men trying to put us in boxes. Don't do that. My immediate reaction overall is amazing movie. I want more. What else do I do? What else? I was gonna say make a sequel. Don't make a sequel. It's a good standalone movie. Don't make a sequel. The window's making me sneeze so much. Now I'm gonna sound a bit nasally in the rest of this video. You know what? Just Greta Gerwig did a brilliant job. Margot Robbie was perfect casting. So was Ryan Gosling. He did amazing acting. My immediate reaction, because I sound so nasally, I'm wrapping it up. Amazing movie. We'll watch again. We'll watch 100 times. We'll show all my friends, make them all watch it. Men also definitely have to watch this movie. I think it would be a really important message for them as well. They really should have tried targeting male audiences a little more. But other than that, I'm finishing this video because I'm sneezing way too much out here. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked, please like and subscribe, and comment down below what you thought of Barbie. What was your immediate reaction? If it's anything other than it was amazing, it was the best movie I've seen all year, get out of my comment section. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I have been CJ, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.